Hey everyone, I am so happy to be here. Thank goodness it's Friday with Brisa Alfaro. I met this lovely woman online, and this is the power of social media, being able to connect with inspiring, powerful, motivational women all over the world. And I met her online and she shared her story with me. I will put the link to her story. She was actually on the doctor's television show talking about her story and how she suffered from a stroke and something called locked in syndrome, which when I found out what that was is totally terrifying, and how she's overcome these incredible odds and started living a regular life again. So, Brisa, thank you so much for being here today. And I just want to hear a little bit about what your life was before this happened and then how this happened. And then we'll kind of just have a little conversation about it.
Okay, so thank you for having me, first of all. I'm excited to be here, and it's crazy how the universe works, right? Just line up with the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
So, what I was doing before my stroke, I think you can relate to it because I think you were a hairstylist, right?
Yeah.
I was too. So, I was a hairstylist. I worked in New York City and California. I traveled as in the beauty industry, and for many years I lived in New York, and I was, living the New York life and hustling, and I loved the beauty industry, and I did everything beauty, everything. I did hair, makeup, nails, like I did all of that. I loved it, and every bit of time, free time that I had, I filled it. And so uh,
I understand that.
so I had the opportunity to move back to California where my family was. So I did that. And by moving back to California, I would be able to travel to New York. So I still got my New York fix. And one of my travels, I was there for a big beauty show at the Jacob Jobs Center, one of the biggest in New York. And I was supposed to be teaching on stage, and I was in New York the day before. I didn't feel good. I didn't know what was really going on. Um, just took a cab to the closest hospital in Queens. And
And what were your symptoms? Sorry, when you weren't feeling good, what were your symptoms?
so the universe works in crazy ways because the symptoms that I was having had nothing to do with my stroke, but it got me to the hospital. So
Wow.
I went there for severe allergies. I am allergic to well, I was allergic to shellfish and certain foods. So I had to travel with an EpiPen, and I I didn't want to use my only EpiPen if that was the case. I was traveling, so I didn't want to use it. So I decided to go to the doctors, and maybe I didn't need to use it. Maybe they could just give me something, and the swelling could go down in my face and neck and my tongue. And so I went in, and it was starting to get better. I was sitting in the hospital. First of all, I walked in and I talked to the nurse that was there, and she asked me, okay, so what's wrong with you? What can I help you with? And I took my hat off and my sunglasses off, and I was like, I don't know, but I'm supposed to be on stage tomorrow. Can you fix this? I mean, I look like Quasimodo. So she was like, okay, right this way, with like a cold, scared look on her face, like, oh my God, because I looked crazy. So she's like, yeah, right this way. I passed up everybody in the waiting room because I was lucky enough to have Quasimodo allergies. I don't know. So I get there, and giving me papers to fill out. They're about to start an IV, and they're about to give me something so I don't have to use my EpiPen and hopefully clear it away. And just then, I noticed a kid had came in to the emergency room from the outside. He was just in a horrible car accident, and I was scared when I saw him because he was just in a bad shape. And the doctors that were setting me up and putting IVs and getting me started, they didn't leave my side. They were right there with me, and I was like, "What, guys? I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. Go help him. Go help him." And They didn't respond or anything. Again, I'm confused. Like, go, I'm okay. And they kept working. And then the doctor said, one of the doctors or someone said, does she have it? Because they gave me a medical gown. And I thought, why do I need a medical gown?
That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So the doctor says, does she have anything on under this? And he says, yeah, she does. And we couldn't, like, she just kept her clothes on. He's like, well, we need to take it off. And and I'm trying to talk to them. I'm like, guys, it's really not that serious. Nobody responded. I didn't realize that in that moment, I was already locked in. So as a result of my stroke, thank you, babe, I had a tube placed in my throat. And when it gets irritated, I start coughing a lot. It's just something I have to deal with now. So when I'm on stage or when I'm doing a podcast or anything, this will happen. And it's just part of my stroke recovery. Thank you. So yeah, I was at that state. I was already locked in. And that's why no one was talking to me. That's why no one was responding. And I didn't know what locked in syndrome was.
Of course not. Why would you?
No. And also, even if they told me I had a stroke, I wouldn't think that I would have. I was healthy. I was young. I didn't think that I would be a candidate for having a stroke. But here I am.
I can't even believe, but that was, you thought that you were speaking. Like, it's the disconnect between your brain and your body function. So you're fully functioning mentally, but so can you explain locked in syndrome to people?
Okay, so most people that have strokes, it affects a certain side of your body. So the left side or the right side. If you have a pon stroke, it happens in your pontine, the middle, affecting both sides. So you develop something called locked in syndrome, where you're essentially locked in your own body. So I always describe it as, like, think of your brain as a town, and something can happen within that town, right? The left side or the right side. And you may not be able to enter that area right away because it has to repair. With time, it can repair. But if something happens in your pons, this is your main highway. This is your only way out. So whatever stays in whatever's in your brain stays in your brain and is trapped. But whatever, things can come in, but things just can't express to come out. Right. So I would have thoughts. That's why I was having these, guys, why are you working on me? Work on him. Nobody was listening to me because I thought I was talking, but nobody was hearing. Because I wasn't. It was just my thoughts. It took a while for me to understand, oh, okay, nobody can hear me. So
and so as that progressed, here was the crazy thing watching your story. So how long were you in the hospital for, in a coma? Because most people that go through this, do they ever come out of it? Like what usually happens?
Yeah, so the amount of survivors for locked-in syndrome is very, very low. So the news that they gave my family when they all finally arrived at the hospital was that I had a less than 1% chance to make,
God,
or even gain my mobility. And they even said, if she gains any type of mobility, I might not have a way of life. I'll just be laying in a bed, and that's not really a way of life. So that was the news that they had given my family. It was a less than 1% chance of me making it. There is about less than 5 cases per year in the world of locked-in syndrome.
Wow.
And even less than that for people to fully recover. So, I mean, I can't say that I'm fully recovered, but I am very, very recovered compared to a lot of other survivors. So
you're absolutely functioning. And so are you back to work in a certain capacity, or are you doing something different?
Yeah, so I'm no longer a hairstylist. I don't work in the beauty industry anymore, other than share my story on their platforms. Like, I go to beauty schools. I've, shared my story with Paul Mitchell. I was very involved with Paul Mitchell. So I'm excited that John Paul DeJoria is going to be on doing a blurb in my book, and so
And where can people get your book, and when does it come out?
right now it's in editing.
Okay.
Um, I don't have an exact date, but you could follow me on brisaalfaro.com, or you can actually, I have something a tool that helped me recover, and anybody can check that out. And that's at pinkymoves.com, and it's free. You could download it and check that out. So
here's what I want to ask you now, and this is something that really blew my mind. Now, you said there was a less than 1% chance of recovery, right? Or any sort of mobility. You're living, breathing, walking, doing all these incredible things to make an impact now. What shifted that you're not still lying in that bed? What was it that changed the game, and that you're not still lying there?
So the first thing I did was change my mindset. I realized when you focus on more bad will happen.
Right.
So I stopped doing that, and it was a journey, because in the beginning, like, your whole life is stripped away from you, and you're like, am I ever going to get back to it? Is things ever going to be the same? Kind of like what we're all going through now. Our lives have been completely uprooted, and we're living in a time where we don't know what's in our mind, and we do have the ability to work on that and change our mindset to know that no matter what, we're going to be okay. It might change a little bit. The narrative has changed. So we might not, I'm no longer a hairstylist, but I'm alive, healthy, and thriving. I'm a publisher. I'm a speaker. I'm a publisher. I'm author. Maybe one day.
You never know. Hey, you never know.
But that's what I'm saying. So you have to learn to focus on the good so that you can get more of it. As long as you keep focusing on the bad, more bad is going to happen, and you're absolutely not going to get to your better days. So it took me a while to, and of course, there will be moments in your days. I think it's important to pay attention to those moments, like for the moment, and then let it go, and don't let it affect your whole day, because then the day can turn into a week, turn into a year. Before you know it, you've manifested a horrible life that you just hate, right? So focus on the little things that is going to propel you and get you to your next. So I wanted to walk again. I wanted to run again. I wanted to live a normal life again. But I knew that I couldn't do it without focusing on the little baby steps, the little pinky moves that was going to get me to my next. I say pinky moves because that's essentially what happened to me when I was in the locked in state. So the first thing that had to come back to me was some type of sign to give to my family, to show my family and my doctors a sign that I was still. Ask me, Brisa, come on, show me a sign, show me a sign. I couldn't do it. It took everything inside of me to try to show them a sign, and even then I couldn't do it.
How long was this process?
Oh, I don't months. I don't.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was laying in the bed one day, and sometimes it takes you to get frustrated with yourself to
Yeah,
make
you
it.
got to get mad sometimes.
Yeah. So I had, my family was all talking in the room, and I couldn't communicate and be a part of the conversation. So I was irritated. I was laying there, but nobody could see it. I was irritated.
Right.
I was frustrated. I just wanted to talk with them and engage with them. And they're all just talking. And then all of a sudden, moved my pinky. And my mom saw that. She saw a flicker of a pinky, and she was like, did you just? And I was like, yeah, because I'm thinking, yeah, because you're wrong. You guys are saying something wrong. I'm trying to tell you guys, but nobody hears me. So it worked in my favor. That frustration worked in my favor. And they noticed that pinky move. And then again, they asked me to do it again. I was still heated. I was still, in this state where I needed to make a change, and I did it again. they were all so excited. So my mom rushed to the doctors and was like, my daughter's moving. My daughter's moving on command. And the doctors are like, they disregarded her excitement. And they're like, no, ma'am, your daughter is not moving because, you know, it's just involuntary movements. And I know you want to believe that, but
Oh.
it's the odds are not good. Sorry. You know, my mom's like, no, you're going back in there and you're going to check her. So doctors went back in there, and man, everybody was lined up around my bed, my doctors, my nurses, my family members, like everyone was there. And they're again asking me, show me a sign, Brisa. Show me a sign that you can move. And they're holding my hand up. And I tried to find that force within myself. And I always describe it as like a energy beam going from my head through my body to my hand. That's the force that I needed to show my family the pinky move. Now I got to show my doctors. Well, it's like lagging at my elbow. That energy beam is at my elbow, and they're like, come on, I could do this again. I can do this again. And it was so frustrating because it was just lagging like you know, when you turn your computer on and it's just not catching that signal. That's all it was. I was just stuck, and I needed a little more. And one of the doctors says, no, she's not doing it, I'm sorry. And he goes to put my hand down. The other doctor said, no, I think she's trying. And because he said that, he gave me a little more hope. Sometimes that's all we need, is someone else to believe in us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did. He gave me the hope that I needed, the encouragement that the belief within myself that I can show them a sign. And just like that, I got that energy beam to reach my finger, and I flickered my fingers, and that just sent the whole room. And that's when my recovery started. So it started with my pinky, and then my hand, and then my arm, and my leg, my left side of my body, my right side of my body came back. Every little thing was just coming back, and I was celebrating every time it did. So I think a lot of times we get hung up on the fact of the things that we can't do anymore, or we can no longer do. Like if I constantly was so upset at the fact that I can't walk, but here I am in a wheelchair, man, that's a celebration. I was in a hospital bed trying to move my pinky not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah, that sucks. It's not ideal. It's not what I want, but I can't get to here if I don't celebrate where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I learned to celebrate every little micro win that I started doing. And I noticed that it was just pushing me to my next.
There are so many golden nuggets in the value you are providing to other people in their everyday life. Like you went from being paralyzed to being fully functioning again when you had less than 1% chance. But in life, we get frustrated with things, and often we give up too soon, or we don't take all of the energy that we have. And sometimes it does take us time to get mad to change things, you know? One of the things that I found really powerful, because I was going to ask you, you know, you said, I want to run again, I want to walk again, I want to do again. But why did you want to do those things? Because I know I couldn't even imagine lying in that hospital bed and realizing, okay, I have no other functions. I'm fully functioning up here, but now what do I do? How did you even shift your mindset? And you said your mom brought in a book and would play you like an audiobook or an audio tape of The Secret.
Yes. So I think that our thoughts have so much power, because thoughts really can become things. And I didn't realize it until, I mean, my mom would do everything she could to try to get me to come back to her. And she would talk to me, play songs, music from my childhood. I mean, she would play audiobooks. She played this one audiobook, which was The Secret, and it focuses on the law of attraction, and what you focus on grows. I heard the voice of a woman by the name of Lisa Nichols, and she said, the first step is to ask, to make a command to the universe and let the universe know what you want. Well, I wanted this thing to happen. So if that's all I have to do is focus on what I want, then that's what I'm going to do. And I focused every thought that came into my head was the thought of recovery. Vision boards, they are building their future of what they want. And if they completely engulf themselves in that and don't let anything else deter them from their goals, they will absolutely get there.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start to doubt it, it will start to retract, just like that energy beam. So you have to constantly focus on the energy and put the energy in to what you want to create. And
Not
so
what you don't want.
not what you don't want, because a lot of times, like, we go through life requesting what we want, and we sometimes don't even realize it's a negative thing. Like, we're in the car and we're thinking, oh, that light's probably going to turn red right now. It's
Right.
absolutely going to turn red because you just requested it. The universe is very, it will respond to it exactly. It's obedient. So when you request that, regardless if it's negative or positive, it's going to happen. So I think it's important for us to tune into what our thoughts are and kind of clean it up a little and realize we can have bad moments in our days. Let it be a moment, move on, and enjoy the rest of your day. That's how you can have, I do have this hashtag, no more bad days.
I saw. I
So,
like it.
what what does that mean? What does no more bad days mean for you? Well, I wanted to believe it. I wanted to have it. And I realized I can have bad moments as long as I don't focus on those moments. Let those moments pass, compile those together, and all of a sudden, wow, I just had a great day. And I think if we keep focusing on the great, on the good, on all the things we want, and all the little micro wins that we're doing in our days and in our work, in our life, and I think we're going to get more of it, and it's going to get us to our next. Just like in any business, like when you, I'm not sure what business it is that you do, but I tried to look it up, and I saw some things. I was like, a spoonful of something great, it makes you lose weight. I was like, I'm in. I don't know what it is, but I'm in. But right. So if you even focus on that, like, you'll have a great week in your business,
Right.
right? A great day in your business, a great moment in your business. Focus on the great things. You'll have more of them. If you keep thinking about how you didn't hit your goal, how you didn't accomplish, but you accomplished so much. Think about all the things you did, and in return, that's what helped me. So when people ask me, what did you do in your recovery to get to where you are at now? I just focused on the little things. I celebrated all my pinky moves.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful thing and such a huge, huge life lesson, because so often we're looking ahead for the next and the next and the next, and we don't take time. I was totally guilty of this, and we don't take time to celebrate what we have or enjoy the life we've created. Instead, we're always on to the next thing, and that doesn't allow you the space, number one, to be grateful for what you do have, but number two, to focus and be purposeful with your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So, I just really want to say thank you so much for taking the time today to come on. I know you're a busy woman. I know that you've got a lot on your plate, but to come on and share your story and just again give so many amazing golden little nuggets that people can carry into their daily life. Like, you truly were made for more, and the reason that all of this happened to you is so that you can go out there and impact the masses like you are. And I just think you're absolutely incredible. You're a huge inspiration, and you motivate the heck out of me to get moving and be happy. So thank you, thank you so much, Brisa, for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll connect soon.
Absolutely. I need that spoonful of stuff from you.
I will. I'll get it to you for sure. Okay, thanks, hon.
No problem. Bye bye.
Bye.